Have you heard of the Counter-Strike map D Vegas? A infamous map that would prevent you from joining a game, crash the server you want to play on, and on top of all that, it's haunted by a ghost. Let's explore this map's troubled and almost tragic history, full of creative ideas, major disappointments, missed chances, little heartwarming moments, and a lovely remake for Source. This is Counter-Strike's Bad Luck Casino. Mike Rosser, aka Cadaver, had the idea for a casino-themed Counter-Strike map on a train ride back home from university. He sketched out a map layout on paper and got to work on it in Worldcraft. That's what the Hammer editor was called back in those days. Let us listen in to what Rosser said in a 2002 interview with Battlefields.com. I had the Dust and the Prodigy in mind. Although I like both maps, I'm not a huge fan of the two choke points style. For me, it gets old quickly. It seems more about throwing numbers at the choke points than any real strategy. Some people say that's team play, but I'm not sure mobbing choke points really counts as team play. With Vegas, I wanted to provide options. Never let the player feel that they are being herded along rails into designated areas of combat. As it turns out, I guess a lot of people don't actually want that, but that's certainly the sort of gameplay I enjoy most. I think he may be right with his assessment of the gameplay preferences of Counter-Strike players back in the day, and judging by what's popular today, I think that assessment still applies. Elaborate layouts are still not the most popular thing. However, Vegas's layout is not the only reason the map was off to a bad start, since very experimental layouts were not an uncommon thing in those days. I mean, we had official maps with 3 bomb sites. We have a video on that if you want to check that out, by the way. So, something else was to blame for its low popularity, and that is the fact that many people never got to play the map in the first place, as the problems already started when Vegas was first released with Counter-Strike Beta 7 in August of the year 2000. In the interview, Rosser describes the situation as follows. It's been plagued with problems, yes. The first problem was that it crashed Linux servers. This turned out to be something to do with breakables targeting other objects. I still don't really know why that was a problem. After that, I think the CS team bundled conflicting versions of the map in an update, meaning lots of people couldn't join servers with it running, because they had different versions. Then there was another Linux problem, this time to do with a missing model. A model that's in the HL pack file. Again, I don't understand it. Anyways, Vegas is okay now, but because of all the problems it's had, it's on very few servers, which is pretty disappointing. The map was plagued with technical problems caused by the inexperience of the mapper, miscommunication, and I guess a big portion of bad luck. Something that every map developer can sympathize with. All throughout these troubles, Rosser, aka Cadaver, continued to update the map with improvements to the gameplay, experimenting with adding different routes to better balance the map. Unfortunately, even the Great Sphinx statue that he built in Hammer by hand fell victim to these streamlining efforts. It was practically cut in half and moved into the wall to make the bomb site a bit smaller. The Sphinx bomb site, apart from all the gambling machines, is what ties the map to its scenario, a fictional casino in the eponymous Las Vegas. Well, I say fictional casino, while D Vegas is clearly inspired by the Luxor Hotel and Casino. So one may start to think that copyright may yet be another issue that cursed the map and, well, they had to struggle with. The Vegas branding wasn't the issue. No, it was several other random textures. Let's just say you can't get away with using an actual beer brand logo in your map. These sorts of things weren't a major issue as long as Counter-Strike was just a free mod. Technically they're still not okay, but nobody really cared. But as Valve turned Counter-Strike into a retail product, such issues had to be solved. Because you just can't sell someone else's logo. The updated version of Vegas removed the Beck's Beer logo. So this was fixed, but this can't be just the only copyright problem, because they used the very same texture, based on this old neon sign, on Militia. And there, they just made the C into an O, while the rest of the logo is just exactly the same. Quick addition here. While editing the video, I finally found some information about the logo that replaced the Beck's logo. Originally, I assumed it was something fictional they made up. However, it is an actual beer logo by the Geelong Brewing Company of Australia. The company went defunct in 2006 and apparently the beer was discontinued in 2002. So why this beer was chosen? I don't know. Maybe they got permission or just assumed that nobody would find out about the beer that was produced only in small batches. In any way, it doesn't make the copyright situation of Vegas any better, and just a bit more confusing. Be that as it may, copyright is still one of the main reasons given for why the map was not included with the retail release of Counter-Strike, and only being shipped out with the mod which existed in parallel with the retail version up until Counter-Strike 1.5. This player-base split yet again led to the map being lower in popularity, as those people who bought Counter-Strike in a store had to jump through extra hoops to get Vegas. They had to download and install the map manually, while mod players got it right away. At first, Valve were going to buy the map and include it in the retail pack. I had the contract signed and everything. Unfortunately, there was some confusion and problems over the textures used in the map. They were from an unused Kingpin WOD. I got a texturer, Joe Smo, to create replacements for the offending textures, but to no avail. Valve abruptly said they were going to have to pass on the map. I was never really given a satisfactory explanation why, but I assume it was because of the textures. Anyway, I was very disappointed at first, but life goes on. Valve's decision to cut Vegas must have come fairly late, as not only contracts were signed, but they also seem to have started working on the map themselves. Back in 2003, there was a massive leak. A playable build of Half-Life 2 was illegally obtained and published a few months before the game launched, leading to massive commotion at Valve and a big FBI investigation. Included with this leak were a bunch of files regarding other games by Valve, including Counter-Strike Source. And amongst these Counter-Strike Source files was a portation of D-Vegas to the Source engine dating back to 2002. This suggests Valve not only had considered Vegas for Counter-Strike 1.6, but even wanted to include it in Counter-Strike Source. It's just yet another sad outcome for this map. And to add insult to all these injuries, the final and maybe fixed version of Vegas is lost. For Counter-Strike 1.3, Rossa created yet another updated version of Vegas. A version to stomp out all major gameplay flaws, adding another route for better rotation and removing the camper-infested vent. Due to some miscommunication between the Counter-Strike creators and Rossa, this updated version was never included, and due to hardware failure, the original files were lost on Rossa's side. So unfortunately, we will never know how the final and fixed version of Vegas could have played out. What we do have, however, is a faithful and lovingly created remake for Counter-Strike Source by SM Sithlord. By today's standards, this is a bit dated, yes, but it's still quite a step up from the original and a glimpse at what a potential Source remake by Valve or Turtle Rock Studios could have looked like. And I must say, I'm really enjoying it. Counter-Strike Source, and early Counter-Strike Global Offensive even, was very dirty, gloomy and dusty. While this is a style I enjoy, I from time to time like it a bit more glitzy and glamoury, and a Vegas map would have just stuck out with its unique neon look. I think this would have had potential. The remade Vegas utilizes Half-Life 2 assets, as so many other maps of that era do, but also features many custom models and textures, such as the Sphinx and slot machines, and elaborate photo sprites in the skybox, giving this a much more real Vegas vibe than the original. The Source engine enabled a much higher level of detail, which led to a lot of clutter in the level, but yeah, that was the style of the day. You can't fault the map maker for that today. And yeah, this custom map is full of copyright infringements. They replaced the Golden Shower with Star Wars. Tell me in the comment section which you prefer. Let us end this sad tale of a map with two little happy notes. The silly Counter-Strike spin-off by Nexon, Counter-Strike Online / Counter-Strike Studio, includes Vegas as an official map, and I wonder if Rossa got compensated for that. And lastly, back to Rossa. Later on, Min Lee, aka Gooseman, sent me and the other mappers $2,000 out of his own pocket for our contributions, which was extremely generous of him. He wasn't obligated to do so at all, but did, for which I'm very grateful. If that's really all he got, that's a pity, but man, it was nice of Min Lee to at least hand him a little bit for his efforts. But what is up with the ghost I mentioned in the beginning, suggesting the map was haunted? Well, that's the ghost of G-Man, and depending on how old you are, a low-res version of the Skibbity Toilet guy.
I hope you're recording.
I'm recording.
Oh god, it's G-Man!
He can appear in a window above the Sphinx bomb site. How and why he appears? Well, that's a story for another day. The Counter-Strike Ghost Hunt. So, stick around for that. I hope you enjoyed this tale of a seemingly cursed Counter-Strike map. If you did, the comment section is yours. Give this video a like, subscribe for future content, and if you absolutely love what we do and would like to see these videos well before they come out on YouTube, well then check out our Patreon. Our wonderful supporters are Lone Wolf, Zat Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, Rival556, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Chris Lever, Strange Module, Cop Fighter, Inter, CJ Surd, Sir K, Ramgilama, Whiskey, Christoph, MTD, Hub, Leggy Boy, Daniel, Fralem, CronyXS, Deovio, iMantrix, Amon, Aussie Loco, Frog on Unicycle Vape, Sidonai, Bobcat Racer, Golden Fox, Pocket, Mama Ghosty, Yellow Jello, Dueg, and Maki. A heartfelt thank you for your support. So, see you guys next time. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.